Hey guys, summer heat's been blasting away. I'm gonna do a little emergency patch job today. Stick around and I'll show you my true and tested method. Hey team, welcome back to Lawn Journeys. Russ. It's Saturday here in New Jersey. The heat broke a little bit, or actually at 90 today. We've had a run of about 3 weeks, 95 plus. I've been irrigating, I've done summer stress, fertilization, you guys can link to that. Today what we're gonna do is a little patch job. I had a lilac bush that I tore out last fall, and I haven't had a chance to do a patch, so I figured maybe I'll try to get it going. So I wanna go over my preferred method for patching, something that I found that's worked really well. Before we get that started, if you're new to the channel, if you guys want to give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, or better yet, subscribe and ring the bell, that'd be appreciated. You can do that at any time, or you can slap the logo at the end of the video. Okay, so anyway, there's all kinds of ways to patch. There's Scott's products, there's Turfmen products that are out, that's pre-mixed with a soil, a fertilizer, and you know, something to keep it moist. What I found is one of the more economical methods. Number one, your grass seed. I'm primarily a Kentucky bluegrass here, so I'm using a Scott's bluegrass mix. The mix is 14% Gaelic, 14% Jumpstart, 13% Abbey, and about 5% Avalanche. That's the seed that I'm using. Works fairly well. I've had good luck with it. I am looking to do an overseed of a better cultivar this fall. I'm looking at Midnight. Would like some opinions on that too, but that's for another episode. In any case, for patches, what I found at Home Depot, Lowe's, Scott's Turf Builder lawn soil. It's for lawn repair and overseeding. It has a starter fertilizer already mixed in. I found it's phenomenal. I definitely get better germination in this. You can't just take a bare patch. I've seen some of my neighbors do this. They take a bare patch of land, they throw seed on it, and they start watering it, and the seed lays there and it lays there. You may get a couple little hairs that'll start to come up, but you're not going to get that, you know, good coverage germination if you don't have a good medium to put it in. The other thing I found definitely helps immensely is to cover what you're doing with a peat moss. This giant bag, this 3 cubic feet of peat moss I picked up this morning at a big box store, HD. It was I think like $10. It's more than enough. I'm going to put it in my shed. I'll be using it again in the fall. I overseeded my property last year and patched a lot of dead grass because I had a fungal problem, and I think maybe I used maybe 6 cubic feet of peat moss total. I'll tell you what, it helps the moisture, retain the moisture, definitely keeps the seed from drying out. This seed's also treated with a coating that's supposed to you know, aid it with germination and moisture retention. I'd like to know what kinds of seeds you guys are using. So anyway, that's my 3 steps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare the ground. I'm going to tear it up a little bit. I'm going to show you guys what I'm doing. I'm going to spread some lawn soil. I'm going to sprinkle some seed. I'm going to probably wet it. I'm going to top it with peat moss and wet it again. And then we'll talk about the watering schedule after we get the job done. So let's go over to the patch area and I'll show you what I'm doing. All right. So this is my problem area from last fall. I had a lilac bush in here. I tore it out because it was getting too big. It was overgrowing this little walkway. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. It still has a lot of probably maybe some root hairs in the ground here, but I'm going to take my groundskeeper rake and I'm going to rake this up a little bit and try to even it out. Prepare the soil a little. I pretty much tore any weeds out the other day. This groundskeeper rake is phenomenal. You can get carried away with it if you're working in the lawn and start pulling thatch, you can easily tear your grass out. So gotta be careful with it. You can still see I have a couple lilac roots in here. Pull these out. I'm gonna take my shovel and just break this up. Prepare the soil. Make sure it's ready. It's also important to get out on the edge where the grass line is. If you don't prepare that nicely, you may get some seed germination there, but it won't take well if the ground isn't supple and soft, so the roots can get down. Got this all dug up. I'm gonna rake this out, smooth it out, pull any other roots out, any junk, any rocks. Turf Builder lawn soil. There are instructions on the back of this bag. If you're top dressing 1/2 inch, 2 bags covers 36 square feet, so you can do the calculation. Otherwise, according to the instructions, 1 inch of soil, throw your seed in. You can put as much as you want. I mean, I spread it out. The soil looks pretty good. I think when I did my overseed last fall, I probably had about 10 bags of lawn soil. I used it on my park strip, and I had much better success than the year before when I just used topsoil. Topsoil sucked. It was terrible. It had no nutrients in it probably. It was probably brownfield soil or something that got roasted to remove contaminants. God knows where it came from. I mean, it had nothing in it. I planted the seed, and neighbor, I didn't have a really good germination rate. This stuff, fantastic. Obviously, if you were going to do a large renovation, you'd probably get topsoil or some other medium, and then do a starter fertilizer. That's what I would do. Definitely use a starter fertilizer with seed. This has it built in, and again, it's for patches. So this is plenty of soil for this area. I'm going to cut this open. It's almost a sphagnum-y, like peat moss appearance to it. It smells organic. It's very black. It's rich. I'm going to keep a little bit just because I have one other spot I need to take care of. It has a very organic odor to it. As our friend Alan Hain would say, smells like success. And I can attest to that, having used this before. So I'm going to spread this out, mix it in, so we have a nice base here. We got starter fert mixed in. Normally I wouldn't recommend patching in 90-degree weather, but we're expecting rain this week, and it's going to go down into the mid to low 80s. There's a storm coming up the coast, so it's probably not a bad time. It's going to be a lot of overcast skies. The ground's still warm. It's at the right temperature to germinate. So I figured I'd knock this out and get it going. Next step, I'm going to apply my seed. You could put it in a little hand spreader. I like to just throw it by hand. I find I get a pretty good dispersion if you kind of pitch it. Just pitch it, give it a little force. I'm going to get it in the soil. One of the other things I want to say, I've seen a lot of my neighbors coat the ground. See this seed? I'll show you close up. It's almost like a blue, it has a blue coating on it, so it's very visible. I've seen people paint the ground with the seed. I run a lot, and so I work my way, around the local streets, and I've seen folks seed, and I mean, the ground is blue. I think they need to cover it like paint. Yeah, you want some even distribution. You don't really want to overdo it. And don't neglect the edges. It's okay if you get it on the grass. That's what it is, right? If it doesn't germinate in your lawn, that's okay. I got a little bit of a salad going in my lawn over here. And I've thought about torching it too, but it's usually not recommended. It's a big job and a big commitment. I'd rather just continue to overseed it. And I want to talk about that in a future episode because I'm really excited about using one of the Premier cultivars. Now what I like to do is just tap it in a little, get a little bit covered. Don't rake it, just tap it. It's not moving, just covering it with a little soil. And right to the edge. The edges are always a problem. I tend to go a little light. And when I get the grass coming in, you know, you still get stuck with a little circle. So it's something you got to consciously pay attention to. And if we had smell-o-vision, you'd be able to smell the organic odor of this lawn soil. I can smell it just standing over it. Don't rake it. If you rake it, you're not going to make it. Next step, sphagnum peat moss. One thing I want to do, so I'm going to give it a little mist. Just wet that seed before I put the peat moss down, and then I'm going to spray water over the peat moss. Let's get a little wet. I like to throw a little more seed on top, real light, just in case I moved it. And if you watch other YouTubers or you know, read about planting seed, they'll tell you don't overdo it with the seed. Seed goes a long way because when it germinates, it's going to compete with the plant next to it, and not everyone's going to win. Okay, sphagnum peat moss. It's very dusty. Wait, check this out, watch. It's a mess. I've spent whole days outside with this stuff. When I had my major overseeding, I was coated in it. If you're sweating, it sticks to your legs, sticks to the inside of your eyelids. And what I found is, don't be chintzy with it. This stuff is key. It's great for moisture retention. And I found I've had much, I mean, I'll say 50 to 75% higher rate of success with the sphagnum peat moss. It is totally critical. Some people may say, hey, you're putting down too much. I already got it in my eye. Some people say you're putting too much down. I don't think so. I mean, some people dress their lawns with peat moss. It's an organic product. It's good soil conditioner. All right, we're looking good. Like, I got good coverage. Like I said, I'll be using this bag again in the fall. It's gonna go in my shed. I gotta keep it dry. Let's wet it down. Let's give it a good wetting. We don't want it to blow away. You can see some of the soil chunks coming through. It doesn't look real nice now, but I'll tell you what, when this dries, I'm gonna water it good. When this dries, it's still gonna be moist underneath. Keeps the birds off, keeps the seed moist, because there is no way they're gonna germinate seed without water. Kentucky bluegrass can take up to 2 weeks to germinate. So, we're gonna keep an eye on this. I hope you guys check back, and I'm gonna show you the progress. I'll also post some pictures on Instagram. All right, team, that's it. That's the lawn journey method of turf patching. using all products found in your big box store. Get your favorite seed. Get yourself some Scott's Lawn Soil, not sponsored, has starter fertilizer in it. I've had great success with it. And the magic touch is this sphagnum peat moss. If you don't put the peat moss on it, I'm telling you, you're gonna have a problem. I've always used the peat moss. I've reseeded all areas of my property. I did some lawn soil and seeding in the spring. This did not take, it didn't do well. I guarantee you, with the peat moss on it, it's gonna come up, it's gonna grow strong. So I want to give you guys a little closer look at the job. It's kind of hard to see the peat moss that's on there because it's wet. Kind of blends in with the dirt. But the seed's in there, the lawn soil's in there. The other spot is over here next to my flagpole. This is where I had some insects. I have some video of it, some bugs crawling around, which I haven't been able to identify. I hit the area with some triazicide, which seemed to have arrested it. So the rest of the turf in the area looks good. So I saved a little of my lawn soil today, and I just spot seeded that too. Okay, so we'll quickly talk about the watering schedule. Basically, whenever I seed, you got to keep it moist. I'll do, with my irrigation system, I'll do 5 minutes on that zone every morning just to wet it. I'll probably hit it again in the afternoon, and then I'll hit it early evening. So I'll be watering that 3 times a day for 5 minutes with my irrigation system if I don't go over there with the hose. Got to keep it moist, and I found that works rather well. Now, if we're going to have rain in the forecast, well, then I'm surely not going to irrigate. And like I said, it's going to cloud up this week. We're going to be mid-80s, and we may be getting rain. It's like 60% chance of rain for a couple days this week. We have the hurricane coming up the East Coast. I don't think it's going to really impact Jersey. It's probably going to be offshore, but we're going to get, you know, some outer rain bands from that. So that's good because my lawn needs it too. So what I want to ask you guys to do is, if you haven't subscribed, ring the bell so you get notified when I post the follow-up. I generally like to try to keep the follow-up in the same video, but this is also an experiment, so I thought it'd be fun to get it going in the heat and see if we can get some patch jobs running. Later this fall, I'll be doing major thatching, either manual or mechanical. Like I said, I'm going to probably overseed with a better cultivar. I'm looking at Midnight Kentucky Bluegrass. I understand, you know, different varieties may do better in New Jersey, so I'm starting to do the research, but I got to order it soon. Last year when I got wiped out, I actually started my overseed project mid-August, and I'm glad I did, because by the time we got frost in October, November, my patch jobs were well underway. This grass looked good, they looked strong. I actually had cut it a few times. And as far as cutting that patch job, I'm not going to touch it. Don't roll over it with your mower. Your wheels are going to tear it up, especially if you make a turn in it, you're just going to shred it. So I'll basically just avoid that area for the next month. I don't need to cut it. It can be 3 inches tall as far as I'm concerned. It won't grow that quickly. But the idea is you want to let the roots set before you start plowing over it with a mower. And God forbid you make a turn on it, because lessons learned, I've done that too, right? Okay, guys. So I hope you had a little fun with me today. I always say it's a quick video, and then when I piece it together, it's like 20 minutes long, which is way too long, I know. People probably buzz through it, so I'm trying to keep them shorter. But that's what I'm working on the lawn this week. I have some more fertilizations coming up. I'm probably going to do another round of fungicide. I'm looking forward to the fall. I love the summer, but I think with all the soil conditioning I've done this year with the Next products and some of that Yard Mastery Summer Stress blend, I've kept this lawn going, and it looks good in all this heat. I do have irrigation, and I'm putting down a 1/2 inch probably 4 times a week. So, okay guys, so that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Let me know what you guys patch with and what kind of success you have. Check my Instagram. You can link to it through the comments, because I will be posting some photos of this, and I'll probably post a couple as it starts to germinate and it starts to thicken up, so you can follow it along there. At some point I'll do a follow-up episode or part of where you can see how it turns out. And this is just a head start on the fall. I guess I was getting itchy. So guys, get out there, get it done, enjoy your turf, enjoy your family, and I hope you guys are well. See you next time on Lawn Journeys.